and the DP members from all assignments for what he called stabbing FDC in the back over the East African Legislative Assembly elections. The opposition had unanimously agreed to boycott the process, saying the NRM had laid a foundation through the election rules to rig the process. They walked out in protest before giving instructions to the Shadow Attorney General, Abdu Katuntu, to block the polls through the Arusha-based East African Court of Justice. Just as Katuntu and a team of opposition lawyers began to draft the petition, both the DP and the UPC nominated their own candidates, thereby breaking trust with their partner, the FDC, who described the move as treacherous and an utter betrayal. Today, the leader of opposition, who constitutes the shadow cabinet and assigns members to the oversight committees, announced that he had decided to remove DP and UPC members from all assignments, stressing that it's better to remain with a few trusted, well, even if weak friends, than to move with a pack of disloyal lions. The Democratic Party and the UPC have defended themselves, arguing that they are legally mandated to take their own independent decisions. From this disagreement, it's obvious that the opposition, which is inferior to the NRM in numbers, has finally lost the unity that has propelled it this far, and now the NRM is inviting the DP and the UPC to form a pact of cooperation with the ruling party, that's the NRM. Now, tonight we examine this wrangle which has emerged and how it's likely to affect the opposition, which many say badly needs cohesion in order to hold accountable the majority number at NRM. We'll also look at the possibility of DP and the UPC both cooperating with the NRM, as has been suggested by the lead of government minister, government business, Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi. Our guests tonight, Hon Betty Amongi, Member of Parliament for Oyam South, also UPC Chief, also UPC Whip in Parliament. We're expecting her to join us shortly. Honorable Joseph Sewungu, Kalungu West MP, also Deputy Whip of the DP, and Honorable Samuel Odonga Otto, Aruu County MP, member of the FDC. We expect them to join us shortly. In the meantime, I'll ask you to call in and tell us what you think on 2 points. 1, do you think the opposition in Parliament can remain relevant when divided? 1. 2, do you think the UPC and the DP should cross the floor, if you like, and work with the NRM, sign a pact of cooperation officially to work with them in Parliament on major bills and other policy matters? Our telephone numbers 0414 348 111, 0312 261 390, 0312 260-390. In the meantime, news has just emerged that the official results from the election of the East African Legislative Assembly members have been elected. All the 6 NRM candidates were re-elected, while another 3 joined them to create the 9-strong team. Spectrum, hello?
Edmond.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, my name is regular caller.
Yes, Jimmy, you're welcome.
An opinion
leader.
Yes,
Jimmy, thank you for calling in. Listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight we're asking the question, can the opposition in Parliament remain relevant when divided? Elections over the East African Legislative Assembly have torn the August House down the middle. 9 members were elected this afternoon. Speaker Rebecca Kadaga has asked the clerk to the Parliament to gazette these names. That means they'll be the official representatives of this country in Arusha, the East African legislative capital. I'll read out the names of the people who went through. I said earlier you can call in and contribute to this discussion. Tell us what you think, whether you think the opposition really will still have strength to oppose the government as they're supposed to do, mandated to do. Our number 0414 348 111, 0312 260 390, and 0312 261 390. When you call in, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Now, the names of the people who are elected, 6 of them from the NRM, they all were in the old parliament. 3 of them from other parties, well, 1 an independent. Susan Nakauchi from Masaka, she got 106 votes. The highest number was polled by Honorable Dan Chitega from the NRM, 273. Margaret Ziwa, 260. Bernard Mlengani, 272. Nusurati Peru, 266. She was once a youth MP. Mukasa Mbide of the DP got 247, while Honorable Chris Opoka got 233. Chris Opoka had originally been opposed by Party President Olara Otto of the UPC. Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir, your name?
I'm Gomia Michael from Kajiai.
Michael, could you switch off your radio, walk away from it?
Yes, please. My question.
All right, Spectrum, hello.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, my friend. Your name?
My name is Paul Gamble.
Paul, could you switch off your radio, please?
Hello?
Yes, Paul, go on.
My name is Paul Gamble.
Yes. Hold your live on Spectrum.
Now,
Your radio is giving us an echo. Could you switch it off, please?
it is off now. Hello?
Go on, Paul. Interesting analysis. It could strengthen the DP, the FDC. That's Paul Mugambe from Luzira. Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir, your name?
My name is Jackson.
Yes, Jackson.
Yes, Edmond.
Yes.
Thank you for
You're welcome. Okay, Spectrum alert. Okay, you can tell us what you think on Spectrum. Tonight we're asking the question, can the opposition in Parliament remain relevant when divided? Spectrum, hello.
Hello, good morning. Good evening, Edmond.
Good evening, sir. Your name?
My name is William,
Yes, William.
and I'm calling from Nadia.
All right, Spectrum alert. Hello. All right. Well, listen, as I said earlier, this is Spectrum on Radio, and tonight we're asking the question, can the opposition in Parliament remain relevant when divided? One of our guests has shown up, Honorable Samuel Odonga Otto, Aruu County MP, also member of the FDC. You're most welcome, Honorable Otto.
Thank you.
Can the opposition in Parliament remain divided? You people have decided to throw out all the other parties out of your cabinet.
Thank you so much, Edmond, and everyone. In fact, the final results were declared now. I guess you got hold of it.
Yes.
And the members have been flagged up to Arusha. They will be sworn in the 4th. But I think the issue of concern is this. Traditionally, when the negotiation started, NRM needed 6 slots. They couldn't compromise. And I attended the meeting which was chaired by the Prime Minister, Honorable Oyam South. They said they could give 2 slots to the opposition. What does it mean? It means the leader of opposition, Honorable Nandala Mafabi, would have the responsibility of deciding who the 2 would be.
The 3.
The 2.
All right.
It is 2 and 1 independent.
1 independent, right.
So as FDC, as a political party, we had an opportunity of pocketing those 2 seats, those 2 slots, and forgetting about DP and UPC. But when we went back to the drawing board, we said the treaty needed all the political parties represented in the House, not just 2. So since there were 6 parties in the House, we thought it wise that each party could get a slot. The NRM could not concede to that. And for us as FDC, being the main opposition party in Parliament, we were not greedy. We said, if you're just giving 2 slots, contrary to the treaty, we are not participating in elections. The surprise comes. DP and UPC decided to stab FDC on the back, and they went and got nominated. And today we have Mukasambide and Chris Upoka, DP and UPC respectively, elected to the Yala. What surprises me most is the votes they got were majorly from NRM, overwhelmingly from NRM, which to me, I said in the floor of the House, there seems to be an alliance between UPC, DP and the movement, leaving only FDC in the opposition. So this is the challenge we have. Needless to say, FDC has also gone to court in Arusha for interpretation of what the courts would say. In an event that the court rules in our favor, each party will be represented in Arusha. In an unlikely event that the court does not rule otherwise, those who are elected today will be representing Uganda in Yala. FDC will be out. So what I want to say is the nature of alliance between DP and UPC and the NRM in the House is very unfortunate for this country. Because first of all, we are few as members of opposition. We need to check government. We don't need to create any single crack on our wall. There are 270, we are just 60. Unfortunately, this East African Yala elections has divided the opposition. The leader of opposition today, Honorable Nandala Mafabi, publicly dismissed all UPC and DP from the shadow cabinet and from the committee chairpersons. So what we are going to see in the next few days is a divided opposition. Everything in parliament now will be done by UPC. So positions held like by Honorable Segona will be strictly FDC. Committee positions which were given to UPC and DP, everything in parliament will be handled by FDC, because we see ourselves as clean with the capacity to check government, as opposed to these parties that are now in bed with the government. We have to check. So that is where we are now.
Well, but on the fight of corruption, NRM MPs have been allying with the opposition. Does that mean that cross, or was that a bad alliance?
Yeah, it's true that liberal and radical NRM MPs have been allying with the opposition. But the challenge we have now is that the ruling NRM party can use the opposition at leisure to divide them when there is any contentious issue in parliament.
Well, someone could say the opposition has used the, some members of the NRM to divide the party.
Yeah, it's true. But Edmond, the point I'm emphasizing is that, like where we are coming to pass the public order management bill in the next 1 month, we need a divided opposition. I mean a united opposition. So a divided opposition now, forget about Yala. Someone goes to East Africa, it is his job, he gets his income, he spends it on his family. But we needed a united opposition in parliament more than ever. Because our role is to check the ruling party. So the moment some opposition parties start getting in bed with the ruling party, it's an enormous challenge. And I thought the listeners out there should know. And for me, I would support what Honorable Nandala Mafabi did.
Firing some members of DP and DPC from the cabinet, summarily.
Yes, they were claiming, I met Norbert Mao, he said, what Nandala did is like dismissing your wife in the market. But today in Parliament, when Nandala Mafabi, the LOP, was saying the rules were not fair, other parties were left out, it is UPC who shot us in the back. Then DP came and shot us publicly. So today what was in Parliament is like you have a mortar, RPG and tankers, NRM in front of you, then behind you you have people with AK-47 and stick grenades. So we were surrounded as FDC. So in the circumstance, he made the right decision to dismiss from cabinet this opposition which are not loyal. So if I compare it with Honorable Mao's analogy, there is nothing wrong with dismissing your wife in the market if she starts misbehaving in the market. If she starts dressing and doing funny things, you need to go home free. So we really have a terrible situation right now in Parliament. You know.
Honorable Odonga, when you mentioned a possible alliance between the UPC and the DP, which you say is ongoing, how long ago do you think it started?
I think it has been going on for a while because all along,
how long?
The inter-party cooperation failed because we had
before
the presidential elections. Because
you think the UPC and DP have been cooperating with the NRM before the election?
In fact, UPC and DP, they don't still believe that FDC is the main opposition party in Uganda. They still think FDC is a very temporal arrangement, it may disappear. So throughout, in fact, we have been putting on
rightly or wrongly?
Yeah, we have been putting on thorns in our shoes. We have been accommodating these parties. We have been calling for cooperation, but they have been stubbornly refusing to cooperate. So today the cat has been let out of the bag, and let's see the direction it will take in the next few weeks, you know.
All right. Well, listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. Can the opposition in Parliament remain relevant when divided? Our guest in the studio is Honorable Samuel Odonga Otto, Aruu County MP, the member of the FDC. We'll go for a break. We'll be back. Do stay tuned.
Hear the voices and the sounds of Africa. One love, one spirit, one heart in Africa. See the beautiful sunset of Africa.
Celebrate Africa with one rate, one Africa from Airtel. Call across all Africa at a flat rate of only 10 shillings per second. That's right, 10 shillings per second all day, all night. And stand a chance to win a fully paid trip for two to Mombasa every week. Another reason to celebrate Africa in proud association with Fly 540 Airlines and Serena Hotels. Terms and conditions apply.
Airtel. John, Mike and I, we go back a bit. We knew John at the beginning, working for someone else. But he was different. He had vision, saw opportunities. He started working towards his goal, opened his own garage, and worked, learning the hard way. His reputation spread. Trust, consistency, quality. Soon people were coming to him from all parts. He made himself and his whole street prosper, and also helped friends, seeing potential in people and helping them on. But John never shouts about all his success. He's just who he is. Special.
So here's to men like John, who make a difference, who enjoy Nile Special, the rich, satisfying taste from the source. Nile Special. You've earned it.
Not for sale to persons under 18.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
Welcome back on Spectrum. Tonight, can the opposition in Parliament remain relevant when divided? They were divided right down the middle after the UPC and the DP decided to go ahead and nominate members to the East African Legislative Assembly. Elections were held today. Both parties are represented there. There's also one independent. So out of the 9 slots, the NRM has 6, DP, UPC have 1 each, and there is one independent. FDC, which is the majority opposition party in Parliament, has 0. What the leader opposition did is fire from his shadow cabinet 6 members of all the members of the Democratic Party and the UPC. Honorable Medad Lubega Segona will not be in Parliament. He was Shadow Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Will not be in the Shadow Cabinet. Local Government Shadow Cabinet Minister Honorable Betty Amongi will not hear of her from that Shadow Cabinet. Honorable Michael Lulumebaiga will not be there. He was Shadow Minister for Health. Honorable Richard Mutumba Sebeliwa, Shadow Minister for Works and Infrastructure Development, has been kicked out as well. Honorable Boa Ogwal Benson Oboa Ogwal, who was Shadow Minister for Communication, ICT, Science and Technology, and Reverend Father Ogwal from UPC MP or 2K in Lira, near Lira, Shadow Minister for Rehabilitation, Relief and Disaster Management. He's not there. Well, in the studio we have Honorable Samuel Odonga Otto, Aruu County MP, member of the FDC, to dissect this matter before us. Was Honorable Nandala Mafabi taking a rushed decision? Should he have waited?
Even if I were Honorable Nandala Mafabi, I would make the same decision, because he was in a catch-22 situation. He's talking on behalf of opposition. Some opposition parties are saying, those are your opinion, you are not representing us. The UPC chairperson, Hon Betty Amongi, got up and discredited the leader of opposition in public and sided with Honorable Amama Mbabazi. The Honorable Seba Garalatif got up and discredited me publicly and even raised the point of order. So in the circumstance, what Honorable Nandala Mafabi did was right.
Putting his house
People say he hurried. No, I don't think that's the case. You would rather have a few committed, loyal opposition members, because fighting the NRM and President Museveni is not easy. I'm not going to go out with someone who can stab me on the back. At a critical moment. At a critical moment. You would rather have 10 committed opposition members than 60. Out of the 60, 30 would be working for President Museveni or with the NRM government. So what Honorable Nandala Mafabi did to me is very right. It is actually long overdue. So let the opposition members see the price of not uniting. Listeners, let me also tell you that today in Parliament we were shocked. CP nominated a candidate, the other faction of CP refuses. DP nominates a candidate, another faction brings Kakande. UPC nominates a candidate, the parliamentary caucus, the party president rejects. So all the political parties other than FDC are divided. And they should stop wasting time of Ugandans. I was in DP before I joined FDC. Since independence up to today, DP is just degenerating into something else. It is actually becoming a non-governmental organization.
Oh, really?
In my observation. So this is totally unacceptable. And as FDC, we are not going to continue working with parties who don't have an agenda of moving President Museveni. Some people in UPC are just fighting for rent. It is now survival.
What do you mean?
The property Uganda House, Apollo Mito Robote, and UPC has in this country, people are collecting rentals, some are in industrial area. So some people are fighting for survival. Political agenda is far from them. DP as a party is divided. Honorable Mukasa Mbide agreed with NRM and the Secretary General and withdrew a petition that himself is the one who took to the East African Court. The petition has now abated. So the NRM says, since you have made the petition abate, you scratched our back, now we are scratching your back. That is how Mbide gets elected. I think these kind of unholy alliances for personal gains at the expense of collective interest is what Honorable Nandala Mafabi said we are not going to continue like this.
What exactly do they lose?
In fact, other than these positions, they lose chairpersons and vice chairpersons of committees of parliament. They have offices, they are entitled to secretaries, they are entitled to allowances, they are entitled to represent Uganda in various forums internationally, they are entitled to an additional pay. So it has serious implications. Because when we have a shadow DP Minister for Health like Dr. Lulume, when we have any health issue to be raised in international fora, we send Dr. Lulume to go and present an alternative position to that one of government. So it means now FDC will have to be doing everything by itself because they are having Mulondo, they are having traitors, and we cannot continue working like this. So
this is a serious hit to them. They've been hit back in their faces.
Actually, the constituents, the voters should now have to make a decision. Because you elected someone to come to parliament to be DP and to be opposition to the NRM government. Now they have come to parliament, they are working with the NRM government. I think this can even be one of the grounds to have a member of parliament recalled.
But some people will be saying some members of the NRM have been allying with the opposition, addressing joint press conferences against corruption.
It's true. It's true. It is very healthy for members of NRM to ally with the opposition, but it is not very healthy for this country,
other way around,
for the opposition to ally with NRM. We are already few. We are only 67. Those people are 200. But we control the moral voices.
Yes.
So this Iyala election has come with a very high price, to the extent that next time you see us talking in parliament, we shall now go preparing that NRM will oppose us, UPC will oppose us, DP will oppose us. So what our forefathers have been fighting for since independence, especially DP, they have been at the center of struggle for Uganda since post-independence today. It has been betrayed by this young generation of Democratic Party leaders. But I also want to make it clear, there are some members of these parties, DP and UPC, who don't agree with what their parties have done. I was talking to Honorable Baliku Dembe JB. He's saying it was wrong for Mao and Democratic Party to behave that way. So we also have members within those various parties that don't agree with the decisions that have been taken by their respective parties. So it doesn't look a very nice picture in Parliament as of now. The mood is very tense. The NRM are up in arms against Nandala Mafabi. FDC is now in isolation of the other parties. So the future really doesn't look so good for the opposition struggle in Uganda.
And that's so big about the East African Legislative Assembly that it should divide you, so deeply.
Actually, whether you have a member in the East African Parliament or not, it is just an assembly. It is where people meet to see how the East African community can work. But the problem we have in this country is poverty. People see it as an opportunity to get a job and to get a salary. So there is nothing so big. Instead, the bigger burden which this East African election has left to us is that the opposition is now divided. And what does that mean? It now means the voices that have been fighting corruption will tend to dwindle. It now means every day in the floor of the House, opposition parties will be opposing themselves. Actually, by implication, I would appeal to UPC and DP to formally sign a memorandum of understanding with the NRM so that they can move on the other side of the house and sit with the NRM, so that we as members of FDC can continue giving checks and balances to government.
So they can't do that. They would have to step out of
the constitution allows the constitution.
They can sign a pact of cooperation.
Yeah, they can. The constitution allows that at a party level, not at an individual level.
Right.
So if the party agrees, it would be healthy for them to go in bed with the ruling NRM party.
Do you see that happening?
It may not happen because they know the implication to their electorates. So what Ugandans should know clearly is that it is very bad to have an imposter. The moment you have a tiger putting on a sheep's skin, that one is very dangerous. So you need to have a clear opposition member and a clear NRM member. That is how the architects of democracy thought multi-party politics would work. But when you have members of opposition who work with the NRM, even in FDC we have been having challenges. Some of our own members go to NRM and pick money, colossal sums of money. And you have seen how the parties have acted on them.
Do you have
some of them?
So give us some clear.
Some of them have even voluntarily resigned before they could be fired. We have brought them to book.
In the FDC?
Yes, in the FDC.
Give us some names.
We have brought them to book. Actually, as of now, 4 members of parliament in FDC have been brought to book. The leader of opposition has formally written to them, asking them to explain their conduct, having various international trips sponsored by the government. So I think people should not start analyzing and saying Honorable Nandala Mafabi reacted.
But there's a difference between government sponsoring trips for MPs and the party, the NRM, sponsoring trips.
Yeah, it's true. But there are certain trips which, by anyone's standards, you see that there is something not right.
Explain to us. Some people will judge you if you don't explain it.
Yeah, I really don't want to mention names. I don't think you'd want to get.
Well, you talk about the historical record.
Yes.
4 MPs from the FDC have been sanctioned. Talk to us. What are their names?
I would not mention them.
Really?
Raymond.
Maybe they don't exist.
Edmond. No. Please don't pull my legs.
Go on.
But I want to tell you, Honorable Nandala Mafabi has written to 4 members of parliament, 2 from Acholi sub-region and 1 from Busoga region, asking them to explain their recent conduct. We've also had situations where the shadow Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs has come out publicly to oppose the impeachment of President Museveni.
Honorable now he's in Arusha.
He's now back. So these are some of the challenges we have. So we rather say we would rather do in-house cleaning as FDC than carry excess baggage of UPC and DP, some of the problems they have been carrying since independence. We cannot solve it in the floor of the house. So now that they have got their seats in East Africa, we wish them well. But you cannot send a leper to sell meat. So to me, I would say UPC and DP, they have scabish. They should go to hospital and cure themselves. We are not going to work with a party that is divided, because those divisions just help to further the interests of the NRM.
So what are you're not going to work to try to heal this rift? It's not in, you're not going to think
it is up to them. We are the plaintiffs. We FDC are the aggrieved parties complaining of the conduct of DP and UPC. It is up to them to make up, to show us that they are willing to work, to apologize, and then come back on the drawing board. If your son abuses you, you don't just welcome him home. He has to come home and make up and say, we are going to do A, B, C, D. So our hands are opened, but as of now, the punitive measures that the leader of opposition has declared today, we shall stand beside him to bring sanity in the side of opposition in parliament.
So they're going to remove their personal effects from those offices? 6 of them?
And especially with committee chairpersons' advices, it involves even removing the official government vehicles that their officers entitle them to do, and also involves immediate deduction of pay. So it has severe implications.
So what happens to the loans that they've been servicing, some of them?
That is their personal issues. I think the way parliament has been structured, the way multi-party democracy has been structured, if you have the leader of opposition, which is mandated by the Administrations of Parliament Act to be the leader of opposition, he must be the leader of opposition.
But some of these MPs, Honorable Segona, Honorable Namboze, Honorable Lulu Mebaiga, some of them might say they were not party to this.
That is why I would say colleagues like Honorable Namboze may not be party to that.
So she can have a position.
Honorable Segona has been above board, but it is not the problem of
The individual.
of DP to try to say, to solve the, it's not the problem of FDC to try to clean the mess in DP. Let them clean themselves and then come and say we are willing to work. It is not the duty of FDC to clean the mess in Uganda House. In other words, what we are saying, if you want to be an effective opposition, go and shower, dress up,
then
comb yourself and show up. If you have feces all over your body, you are even going to spoil the nature of the struggle, which is what we are saying we are not going to condone as FDC.
This is Spectrum Radio, and you can call in now. Our number is 0414-348-111, 0312-260-390, 0312-261-390. Spectrum, hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your name?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Your name?
This is Fred from Otto.
Yes, Fred. Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your name?
Good evening. My name is Edmond.
Yes, sir. Spectrum, hello.
Hello, Edmond.
Very well, thank you.
Good. Now, I would like to comment on the action of the leader of opposition.
Your name, sir?
My name is Ronald Senior of Kampala.
Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Yes, Martin. We're hearing Proverbs, some of them, for the very first time. Spectrum, hello. Yes, sir, your name? Spectrum, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, your name again?
My name is Odonga.
Yes. Spectrum, hello. Yes, sir, your name? Alright, let's get back to the studio. Honorable Odonga Otto.
Mr. Wamboga, you said we should focus more on the abilities of those people to negotiate for the region other than the process which they underwent. My only difficulty is those who made the treaty, especially under Article 50, needed all the various shades of opinion to be represented in East Africa because we are trying to form a community. If it was about numbers,
from one country,
trying to form one country from 5. If it were about numbers, Burundi with 5 million people would not take 9 representatives to East Africa.
Tanzania has 45.
Tanzania has 45, also 9. So the thing of East Africa is not about numbers. Now when we send NRM 7, then we have 2 oppositions also elected by NRM. It means the views that will be represented in Yala is strictly NRM. There will be no contrary view because even BIDE has been elected by movement, even UPC has been elected by movement, even independent. That is not the spirit of the community. The community actually wants people with diverse and various thinking. So I wouldn't agree so much with you, but I still appreciate your opinion. Someone, AM, say the blame lies with FDC. You know, when you have a big head, anyone can easily physically, anyone can easily point at your head. Even a young child, he would just raise the hand up and at least he will be pointing at the direction of your head. So as FDC, we take the blame if you think it is right. But what I want to say is that we are the official opposition in this country, elected by Ugandans. We are overwhelming. We double actually DP and UPC individually. So we shall play our role until Ugandans decide otherwise. Martin, I agree with you. Ronald, the decision of Honorable Nandala
Martin, you agree that lions should really not feed on hyenas?
At least I agree with him. The jungle law, in fact, what we call jungle law is actually not jungle law. You will not find the lion eating grass.
Yes.
Even rugby, which looks one of the last.
Somebody eats the grass for it, then it will eat that
to be a proper meal. Even rugby, a game that looks like it does not have rules. There are still rules. Those of us who don't understand rugby. So what Honorable Mbide did is even slightly beyond rugby. There are no rules, there is no marksman, there is no target. And we have seen people who behave like that. They go up so fast, but they'll come down so fast and permanently. They will never resurrect again. It is said that now is the latest NRM darling in the house. Everyone says, Mbide. So I wonder where that puts DP. Ronald, Honorable Nandala Mafabi was not emotional. Actually, the neck of FDC is sitting on Wednesday to consolidate this decision.
Next week.
Yeah, next week.
Yes.
The parliamentary caucus, we are actually mounting pressure on Mafabi for tolerating such kind of behaviors.
Or you actually pushed him to do what he did today?
We are supportive. It is long overdue. If he did not do that, then we would move now to remove him from office. We are not going to tolerate public indiscipline on national television by opposition parties who should be led by the leader of opposition. Businje, the process of recalling MPs is provided for in the law, but it is not so easy. It is like asking someone of 70 years to come and ask for a debt if he can come with both parents. The way we drafted that law, we were so greedy. But we want the voters out there to know that the MPs they elected as opposition have duped them. They're actually in bed with the NRM. But there are some MPs in DP and UPC who are clear-headed. They just believe what DP did is wrong. They have no compromise for this whatsoever. I met them in Parliament, including Honorable Namboze. They can't believe that the Mbide group can now finally work with President Museveni. So they are there, and unfortunately, the dismissal by the leader of opposition is inclusive of all members of those parties. You cannot now start isolating individuals, but he still has powers
to appoint
some of them to come and do executive role. He can exercise that power, but we do not want them to take us for granted. That one, it should not be tolerated. And Fred, I really thank you for your compliments. You know, if we are not united as members of opposition, these thieves in NRM will even steal money publicly, but because we are preoccupied with our division, we will not be able to point.
Which thieves? You mean the ones the president spoke about in Rwanda sometime?
Yeah, there are very many people who are stealing public funds in the government. So we opposition should be united because we control the moral voices. Look at division. Division is killing DP. Division is killing UPC. So I would really think, I don't hate the UPC members, I don't hate DP members, I hate their conduct. It is in our interest that we should be united and work together. But in an event they don't work together, right, they are just helping NRM to be in power forever and ever and ever and amen.
Well, we have to end here. Thank you very much, dear guest, Honorable Samuel Odonga Otto, Member of Parliament for Aruu County, also member of the FDC. Thank you very much for coming to Spectrum. The other guest could not make it. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next is the news in English. Just stay tuned.
Wait, turn off the music. Guys, please, no like cows.